Hey guys, Sarah here, just wanting to do my watermelon cup so you guys can see how I made mine. We are going to use all Glitter Guy glitters, of course. We have Rainbow Ice, Blushy Slushy, Cash Money, Ectoplasm. I have made this cup before with other colors. This is another rendition. You can see the colors are just slightly different. This one was done using Pot of Luck instead of Cash Money, Dragon Ice instead of Rainbow Ice. It has a green shimmer to it. See if I can get the camera to pick it up. And I thought that that was really neat, and I think it gives the whole cup a really cool look because it's already got that little bit of green in it. Of course, the camera's not going to pick that up, but Rainbow Ice also has the same green in it. Neverland, a little darker than Ectoplasm, and then Snozzberry, which is a little darker than Blushy Slushy. So here's what we're going to use. Here's what I used last time. You can feel free to mix and match, whatever you think looks best. So we are going to Mod Podge our entire cup and then start from the bottom up, because I find it easier to space them from this way than I do the other way around. So let's get started. I've already painted my cup just plain white, and any Mod Podge will do in my opinion. I use matte Mod Podge because that's all I've ever used. I just really think it was probably the first one I picked up off the shelf, honestly. And these paintbrushes are just regular paintbrushes from Walmart. This one is plaid, but also Folk Art makes a good set. I actually prefer the Folk Art because it has this little holder, but my Walmart is not always in stock. So I'm just going to Mod Podge this entire cup. A lot of people ask me why I use Mod Podge on my first layer and I use spray glue on my second. Why don't I just use spray glue for the entire cup? In my opinion, I just think that I get a better first layer with Mod Podge than I do with the Loctite or any spray glue that you use. And also, I'm a creature of habit. So I've always used Mod Podge, so I guess it's just what I always go for. But you can use Loctite for this whole cup if that's what you choose to do, or of course you can use epoxy, whatever your preference is. All the steps except for applying your adhesive will be the same. So I have Mod Podge my entire cup, and I'm wiping off the excess glue off my brush, and then I'm starting from the top and just going down. And I'm doing it quickly. I'm just making sure that we're all the same level of thickness and that everything's completely covered. And don't forget your bottoms. Now I'm going to try to do these next steps as slow as I can, but also you want to do them pretty quick because you don't want your glue to dry. So I'm going to use this line here that's already on the cup and follow that. I sprinkled the glitter on my paper, and I'm using my fingers because I find it easier to control where the glitter's going other than the shaker, because of the type of shaker that I have. in my opinion, it doesn't matter if your lines are like pin straight, because I don't think watermelons are really perfect anyway. So I just do the best I can. You want to work quick, but you also want to take your time and get your colors where you want them to be. Don't rush through the whole thing, because you'll notice at the end that you've rushed. You see all the little imperfections. So right now I'm just cleaning up my little line here. Any of those like gaps, I'm just filling as well as I can. And again, I leave some of the imperfections because I like it. I like the way it looks at the end. I'll show you my cup again before. And what I'm using to hold my cup is just a pool noodle on top of a PVC pipe that I cut. Which obviously is not thick enough, and I should probably thicken it up before I use it on a 30 ounce again. Next we're going to do Ectoplasm. And this one I want to do thinner, but again, this is going to be your cup, so you do the lines as you see fit. I'd rather overlap the color on the green than on the glue, because we can dry brush it off. Whereas if it goes on the glue, that's where it's going to stay. And your next color is white, so you're definitely going to see it. I'm just going to thicken that up just a little bit. But again, you make yours how you want it. Now, instead of tapping it off, I'm going to blow this way. So I'm gonna gently just tap as much off as I can without really shaking the cup around, because I don't want the glitter to go crazy and get on the glue. So again, I'm just going to blow air this way down my cup, if that makes sense. So I just blew off all the excess glitter. I'm gonna go to the next color. And usually, like I said, I do these much faster, so you're gonna see by the time we get to the pink, it's gonna dry up a little bit on us. If we had gone faster, it won't do that. So this one I want to do a little bit thicker. Sorry guys, it's springtime here in Jersey, and I got the allergies so bad. It was really bad this morning, but Claritin's helping a little bit. I dropped a little bit of rainbow ice where I didn't want it, but that's okay, because Blushy Slushy's our next color, and it's pretty dark, so it'll cover any white that we want on our second layer. Just thickening up my lines just a little bit. And if you guys have to go slow, don't be afraid of the glue drying because you're just going to do a second layer anyway. I'd rather you take your time and add more glue later than rush and not be happy with what you're making. So again, I'm going to blow my cup this way. So I'm going to hold it down like this and just blow air to get the excess glitter off. And the reason I do it that way is because I'd rather, like I said before, I'd rather the colors get on the colors, because we can dry brush that off, than it get on the glue where I don't want it. So now I will use the shaker for this part. Start in the middle, going up. And I don't know why I do that. It's just how I've always done it. I guess because I want to take my time when I get to the bottom, when my lines butt up. So you can see where my glue's already dried, but we will take care of that when we do our next layer. It's easier to get this because, as you can see, there's already glitter on the glue at the bottom, so less likely this is going to stick to it. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can tell where there's no glitter, even though the glitter and the glue are both white. You can see where it's just not sparkly. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just getting up to those lines, making sure all the glue's covered. Now I'm just going to gently tap off my glitter. I really don't want to tap too hard because there's other colors, and the amount of glitter you're going to save by tapping off the excess is not comparable to the amount you will waste if you get your other colors in your good pink. So you can see, you could see where my glue dried, and it was very little, and we're going to take care of that with our next layer. So I'm going to put this on my drying rack real quick, which is just a little pencil holder in front of a fan. 1 second. When I do Mod Podge and then spray glue, I always dry it a little bit in between layers. I've noticed that if I don't dry it a little bit, I get these air bubbles. And they form much later than you're glittering, so sometimes they go unnoticed until you're about to epoxy it. And that's the worst. Get all our glitter in there. Again, we're using Blushy Slushy from the Glitter Guy. See, I did get some green in here. We're using Rainbow Ice, which is also just a really favorite glitter of mine. I actually put Rainbow Ice in my epoxy a lot when I'm on my last layer of epoxy on cups. And it just gives it, like, you can't really see it much in the sun, but in the sunlight you can really see the extra. You can see it a little bit here. If I was outside, you'd see it a lot better. Just a little added extra rainbow sparkle, and I love it. I do it on cups often. So that was Rainbow Ice. Ectoplasm. I really love Ectoplasm. This is just a really fun, bright green color. It's one of my favorites. cash money. It's a really rich, pretty green. It's darker than Pot of Luck. So really it's all personal preference on what you use. Check on the cup. Just a few more seconds and we will be ready for our second coat, which I'm going to use Elmer's spray glue. And like I explained in all my videos, the only reason I really use this one is just because it's cheaper. It holds just as well as Loctite, it sprays just as well as Loctite. So again, this is a personal preference. I like this one, they all stick the same, they're all glue, it's gonna work. You do have to make sure your nozzles are really clean because you could see the buildup on mine. Someone had said wipe it with alcohol when you're done, and that's actually a really smart idea that I'm gonna start doing on my new cam because this one's pretty much done. Also, something good to note, when I'm done with my brushes that I use for Mod Podge, they live in the water. They will not come out of this water. Because if they do, this one I didn't want to leave in the water, and you can see it's hard as a rock. It's not as bad as some of the brushes that I wind up with, but once you dip it in Mod Podge, you can wash it as well as you want. I never seem to be able to get it out, even with acetone or alcohol or anything. So they live in that water until I can't use them anymore, which I guess is about 4 months. So I'm going to swing you guys around so you can actually see what I'm doing. My new phone mount is amazing, and it allows me to move my phone a lot easier. So I'm going to shake our can up. And I always find just any old empty box to catch my overspray because it's going to get all over your floor if you don't. You can kind of see the spots that you missed because they'll still be super sparkly. Okay, so these bubbles here, don't worry too much about them. I just take my finger and I just press them down real quick, but you kind of really want to do this quick. You don't want your glue to dry. Pretty much everything about this is as quick as you can do it. They get tacky if they start to dry any bit, and then they're a real pain in the butt. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. Let's see if I can do it with my shaker a little bit. Much rather this way. Makes me a lot more comfortable. I have no upper body strength, which is kind of funny because of how often I have to hold these cups like this. You'd think my arms would be a little bit better. It's not that they're that heavy, but after holding it for 20 minutes, your arm begins to not be happy. It's a little fun fact, I guess. So again, same thing. I'm just making my lines as clean as I can, or as clean as I want them, or as unclean, however you want it to look. Again, tilting my cup downwards, I just blow the glitter off so I don't get it on anything else. Next we got Ectoplasm. Being super careful. Like I said before, I'd rather get it on the dark green than the white. Anything you get on the white's going to show up. You're never going to cover it. And we can dry brush it off the green, but also sometimes it kind of looks pretty cool when it gets on the green. I won't dry brush it all off. It's much lighter, so it's not going to cover it, but it adds a little bit of fun color to the whole look. Looks like we covered all of our green. Just gonna lightly tap it. And then same thing, hold my cup downwards and blow the glitter off. So you see how it's really on the green? And it's gone. Just lightly blowing it off, it's gone. So, same thing as all the other steps. We're just going to, I'd rather get it on the light green than, well, actually this one I'd say it's either way, because if you needed to, if you got it on your pink, you could just spray that area and it'll cover white, no problem. Basically, almost every color will cover white. Actually, I don't know any colors that won't cover white. That's why we usually do white bases. And you can see where you've missed, because it will not be sparkly. I'm not even going to bother tapping this into that, because I really don't want anything in my white. And we have all of our excess glitter off. So you can see where my white got on there just a little bit. It won't be hard to cover. So I'm going to start where we obviously missed it last time. Sorry guys, a little slip. Make sure those areas get covered. My cup's falling off a little bit, there we go. Making sure those areas got covered from when we went slow and my glue was drying. And just like I said before with the white, you can see where you can see that I didn't cover and that I did. I would have shook the rest out of the shaker, but the shaker's empty now. And I want to get up to the line anyway. I have much better control over the glitter this way. So you can see our watermelon cup, I think, turned out pretty neat. My lines are not perfect, but I didn't want them to be. I don't think that a watermelon's lines are perfect, so I don't really want mine to be. I would let this dry and then seal it a few times before I epoxied it, so none of my colors really mix. So you can see I wanted to show you how I dry brush, but you can see some dark green there. And it's coming out. Just very lightly dry brush it out. You don't want to press too hard, you're just kind of sweeping it off. And it is coming off a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but I really don't want the cup to be perfect anyway. Well, I want it to be perfectly imperfect. And if you really feel the need, you could just do another layer. It doesn't hurt. And there we have it. I will link some where you can find some of these supplies underneath this video, and don't forget to subscribe for new videos coming out. Thank you guys for watching.